Thank you very much, Puckett and Bren. This is where we are also now in the hot seat. We'll have to see if GamersOrigin can bring this one back. Otherwise, we're simply wrong.
We are simply wrong. There's also a very valid reason as to why we're not actually on the analyst desk at all, is because our predictions, like we said before, is from the heart, not the head. GamersOrigin, I had high hopes for them coming into this. You know, I thought Leaf on the Doomfist, that was going to be the kicker. That was going to be the kaplow, you know. What ended up happening? Oasis was the map pick, right? The predetermined map pick, obviously not a great one for Doomfist. And then King's Row, which was Gigantti's bread and butter, you know. Sideshow mentioned it again on the analyst desk. You know, Gigantti, even back when they were Ninjas in Pajamas, they'd love to run that Zarya, they'd love to run the Hanzo and just combo it up. And with Davin in the roster now as well, they're like an unbeatable machine is what it feels like.
They were operating at all cylinders there, where even when offense got going for GamersOrigin, when the sides were flipped and we saw Gigantti on the offense, their offense was pretty much nearly unstoppable to the point where even if GamersOrigin was able to complete the map, they probably would have been behind on time anyways, and Gigantti would have been able to finish it out anyways. So Gigantti looking very strong at King's Row, and now GamersOrigin, they are put to the challenge. They must now win Hanamura, win whatever the escort map may be, and bring it to a tiebreaker if they want to take the series.
Absolutely right here. For Hanamura, this was, of course, GamersOrigin's map pick, as they were the losers in the previous map. Clearly, they feel like they want to have a few little set plays, possibly, to bring out here. But it will be, of course, trying the defenses for now. And we see GamersOrigin, or Team Gigantti, I should say, on the defense, not opting for an Ana, instead going for Shaz on the Zenyatta. But again, it's very traditional sort of dive compositions. They've got Davin on the Tracer, Linksa on the Genji.
It is a little bit strange to me that GamersOrigin brings it to Hanamura here, where this is actually one of the maps that they lost to Bazooka Puppies, where they weren't able to make the Doomfist work quite as well. But perhaps this is a case where they've been able to work things out and find a better way of making the Doomfist work on Hanamura, because it has been a few weeks since that fated matchup.
Has indeed. They've had time to prepare, time to look at the compositions and see what they can work out. But on the side of GamersOrigin, they are going to be coming out the gates with Hardest on the Widowmaker. Interesting pick, and we can see he will actually find the picks that he's realistically looking for their team. One pick is realistically all they need to get this ball rolling and get this first point under their control.
GamersOrigin right now, not doing anything crazy, just rolling into the right, and they're not contested. Gigantti lets GamersOrigin get good position here, and that can be deadly.
Whoa,
oh, my word!
Get out of here, Hardest! What was that? You can't switch now, lad. Not after that. What in God's name was that?
He's getting out while he's ahead. I respect this. I mean, I wish he was more Widow, but he's just making it so he can be a good Widow the entire map long. But as it was going on, GamersOrigin, they get onto the point with ease. Gigantti absolutely debated there, or at least Linkser was.
Show me that again. I'm pretty sure they've won that point. Surely they have, but you know, who cares about the point when you get to watch this play again? God damn, son, what is that? That is nutty.
Well, one thing, we might have counted our chickens before they hatched, as Gigantti is getting back onto the point right now, and they're getting the picks they need. Could they actually bring this one back? They were at 97.7%, and now with the Transcendence, Gigantti is, in fact,
actually did
getting back onto the point. So, yeah, Hardest, he might have to go back to that Widowmaker here. Like, can you catch lightning in a bottle twice, Hardest, is my question.
We were getting so ahead of ourselves when we saw them. We were like, they've got it. Don't worry, play the replay. It's fine. No,
it's
Gigantti.
fine, because GamersOrigin probably felt the same, which is why Gigantti was actually able to get back into that.
That's true, but now they've got to deal again. Linksa has a Dragon Blade to work with here. GamersOrigin again going to be taking the right-hand side. It's pretty much the most common way to assault Hanamura on this first point, is always taking the high ground around here and just seeing if you can get that initial pick off.
Well, there's no Widowmaker this time, but there might be a Pulse Bomb. Leaf onto the high ground once more. Great position here for Doomfist, who wants to keep his options open. They're moving in. Punches Winston in the back of the head. And yeah, I'd be pretty angry there too. That hurts.
Absolutely. Ultimate's going to start flying now as well, as the Primal Rage was forced out of Fraggy to try and work his magic out of it. Is he going to get knocked off the edge? No, the Leaf was there. Leaf looks like he wants to try and target this one out, but Big Goose is going to get made into, once again, Mincemeat. The Meteor Strike now coming out. Gigantti have fallen, everybody's dead, and this should now be the cap going in for GamersOrigin.
Well, because GamersOrigin didn't get the first time, though, they did lose about 2 minutes off of what was honestly a disastrous finish for them and a very good comeback for Gigantti. Moreover, because of that, instead of having crazy momentum, which they would have had if they finished out first, they're running into not one but two support ultimates. Key here for Gigantti, though, is going to be keeping GamersOrigin off the high ground here. They need to contest this heavily. Don't want to let an offense get up here for free, and yet they do just that.
Oh, they're moving in. Leaf even gets a pick off there onto Big Goose into the back lines with the rocket punch. Now they're going to look to see if what they can take it further. Leaf, again, another rocket punch going to be doing a decent amount of damage, and that will force the Transcendence out of Shaz. Gigantti going to be looking to try to take this any way they possibly can, but they're just expelling all these ultimates and not really getting too much out of it. Still, the fight's being taken evenly, but I feel like Gigantti have managed to stagger this one out, or have they? Have I spoken too soon? Leaf was finding a pick or two, but I don't realistically think it's going to be enough, as Poker was the last man standing.
Have no fear, Bren. It looks like you spoke just in time, because even though GamersOrigin was able to get some pickoffs there, Gigantti just able to recover, get the respawns in, and as we know for assault maps, you go big or you go home. And in this case, GamersOrigin, they're going home because they did not decisively clear Gigantti off the point quite as well as they needed to do.
And typically with assault, you know, generally teams, they're going to have to stack up these ultimates and get a clean sweep off the board to try and get a capture point at least. That's what Gigantti were kind of just aiming for. As you saw, they were spending a lot of time at the tail end of that fight, just trying to build up their ultimates. Fraggy's almost got the Primal Rage. Gigantti are very close to 6 ultimates online, and now it's just a case of GamersOrigin trying to realistically push this one out from them. They've got 2 support ults to work with ZP. Let's see what they can do.
Well, they have the high ground early on. Gigantti is not challenging this well at all, and what has the setup hardest? In the back with plenty of room. Gets tank support as the D.Va tries to stop him, and now he has them in his sights. Attack visor up from afar. A great position here for a 76. Gigantti having to be very careful in how they fight this back, but fight it back they do. Heap is down early on as Davin trying to pull this back as a one-man army.
Heap falling with the Transcendence there. Not exactly what GamersOrigin were looking for there, but they did force out a ton of ultimates. Gigantti now have no support ults to work with, no Primal Rage, and Lynx is the only one with a Dragon Blade to hold them off, whereas GamersOrigin now, they've got tons of stuff to work with. Transcendence on the side of Heap, which means they can, if they wanted to initiate in with it, I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, but they can also use it to stall out an initial fight, I suppose, and even look to get some more picks. But they've also got the position in ZP, because they've got Poco to self-destruct and Mendez with the Primal Rage.
This is worrying for Gigantti because GamersOrigin has been playing this very well on a strategic level where they're always able to clear out the top, they're able to get superior positioning, and even if they didn't mechanically finish out last time, look what they do here again. The Doomfist clears out space, and now they can attack this point however they want. Gigantti is going to have to rely on Lynxer getting a good hero Dragon Blade and not throwing it into Heap's Transcendence.
There's quite a lot of pressure right now onto Leaf to try and get that initial pick off here for the rest of his team. Punch, not quite connecting, but they do manage to get a tick. Now we see the Transcendence used by Heap here, just baiting out for now, and now Gigantti looks to try and reinitiate, but Mendez, he brings down Fraggy. Now the Dragon Blade, Linkson needs to make something happen with this. He needs to do the damage. He will bring down Leaf and Heap and Harness into the back lines. It's a 3K for him, and he's looking for more as Mendez will fall.
Heap used the Transcendence there a bit early. I'm not sure if GamersOrigin was under the pressure to where they needed to do that. I think they were using a little bit more aggressively to try and just take the fight there. But when you take that gamble, Bren, sometimes you lose, and the loss comes in the form of a Dragon Blade where Lynxer says, oh, you can't protect yourself anymore. Let me just slide right in and bring out my blade.
Yeah, that was looking actually pretty good for GamersOrigin. You know, they didn't expend too many ultimates in the midst of it, but at the end of the day, it was a waste of a bit of a waste for Transcendence. You know, a bit patient with it. Maybe they needed to wait for the Lynxer pick before they popped it off, but now they're working with a Sandbar. Davin moves in with the Pulse Bomb, doesn't connect onto anyone. Might have got 8 up there by the defense matrix, but you see GamersOrigin now looking to initiate in, and Shaz has fallen.
That's big. The early pickoff here for GamersOrigin. They're still in the high ground, and the attack visor's out. Hardest, though, under a lot of pressure here early on, but able to stay alive. The beat will now keep him alive even further as GamersOrigin turning up the heat. It's getting toasty here on this point, Bren, as they get everything they need and more, just half a tick away.
Shaz forced to move over to the Doomfist in the final moment to try and stall this one out, to stagger it out, but with all of these players falling, it will mean that GamersOrigin get the second checkpoint with about a minute remaining. So, time on the board, they do manage to cap it out. Gigantti now, the roles will be reversed. ZP, you're wiggling your finger, you got a point you want to make. What is it, lad?
Actually, my finger just wanted to wiggle. Why do you assume I have a point?
You just want to sit in silence.
Yeah, no, I just want to sit here and, you know, feel things out. But no, one thing that's worth noting here is that for a minute 7, those are 7 seconds of destiny, because it means that Gigantti can't just finish out the point in overtime.
Yes.
They need to have a little bit of time left for themselves, or effectively it's fairly likely that the map will go the way of GamersOrigin. So Gigantti now under a little bit more time pressure for how they have to finish out last.
That is correct. Now, with the roles reversed, Gigantti going to be on the attacking side, GamersOrigin on the defense. And I imagine we're probably going to be seeing something similar to sort of a 2-2-2 dive. I mean, if Poco sticks to the Junkrat, you know, respect to him, but I very much doubt it. If he does, though, I'll be impressed, but I doubt it. You know, he's probably just going to do that thing that the pro players do, where they just jump off the edge and then they switch to the proper roles. But
be my EU, Taimu.
It's not working. Please. It's not happening. Realistically, it's not happening.
No. Don't crush my dreams.
Time. There's still
Bren,
time.
I'm swooning.
Nah,
no!
He's done it. He's done it. He's done that thing where they just jump off the edge and then they switch back. He's not going to stick with the Junkrat.
I hope it's a double bluff. I hope it's where he... Because that goes in the kill feed. Gigantti knows that.
Yeah.
No.
It's not a double bluff.
Oh.
It's not a double bluff. Poco on the D.Va. This makes sense. I mean, as much as fun it would be to see a Junkrat in play here, I gotta say, I'm not keen on its effectiveness, especially when he hasn't actually... We're playing on the... Remember, this is the pre-buff Junkrat patch, so he doesn't have the 2 mines, doesn't have the Riptire buffs available to him just yet.
Well, Taimu, if you can hear me across time and space, I miss you. Anyways, we are heading into the next round here. Gigantti on the attack, and they're going to play this relatively standard. 2-2-2 on the way, as Davin and Linkser will be leading the way as flankers. We'll see just how Gigantti attacks this point.
Yeah, well, most teams like to take it in for the right-hand side, but it looks like Gigantti just want to be rushing the point straight into them, but Leaf has answered back. Davin has met his maker, but still Gigantti are overwhelming them in the corridors right now. Zappis will get desuited out of this, and Poco, I should say, gets the stall, gets the back lines really defended there with the defense matrix and whatnot, and Gigantti, that's backfired to a degree.
Well, Gigantti was trying to rush low ground, pick someone off that wasn't being supported by the rest of their team, but what we saw Gigantti do there is they just collapsed in on top of them immediately. They were prepared, and the blitz strategy coming out from GamersOrigin simply fails. It does not do what they want to do here, and now GamersOrigin in a position to solidify their defense a bit here, especially if they can win this next fight and start getting some defensive ults online.
That's exactly what they're going to be searching for right now. We see, again, another offensive maneuver here. Bembest eating a lot of damage. Fraggy now going to be taking the high ground here, eating so much damage. 44 HP, does manage to get the health back in the nick of time. And Shaz picks up the entry kill there onto Hardest. This could be big for them now, as that's a 5v6 scenario for them.
Fraggy consuming the peanut butter in those health packs. He's ready to go. He's recharged. And now he's going to dive in with Linkser. Zenyatta, the prey. He's hunted. He's down. Gigantti now tearing apart this point, being surgical, in fact, here, Bren, as they go for the early support kill, and then just casually move on to the point to get the rest. Leaf, jump all you want, buddy. This point is probably gone.
There you have it. I mean, with the follow-up players there falling, I mean, Bembest is probably going to be now on the last point, ready to defend at home. And this will be the first checkpoint going here to Gigantti. Now, the question is, are GamersOrigin going to be able to defend this when Gigantti have 2 support ults to work with? In fact, they've almost got 6 ults across the board. This is actually mental, because Gigantti could potentially clear this one out in just one fell swoop. They could just roll in with all 6 ults, depending on what direction they're going to be going. They want to go through main ZP.
People need to stay alive here, the delay, but now the blade is into the back. One support already down. Linkser, bloodthirsty, in and around. It's a triple for Linkser and Gigantti. They have no chill whatsoever, Bren. They're out for blood, and they're getting it right now. GamersOrigin already against the wall, and the Transcendence is done.
Oh, the South Destruct will push them off the point as well. Zappis does get the DMEC down onto Poco in the tail end of it, but 1 tick and counting, 2 ticks and counting, nobody on the point whatsoever. Heap tries to run it down, drops down the bio grenade, tries to go for the Kobe maneuver, but not quite working out for them. As we see Lee, he jumps back into the fray, goes for the rising uppercut, will bring down Big Goose, but eventually Zappis will put an end to him. Now we see Davin desperately trying to hold on to this, desperately trying to get that DMEC, and he will finally pick it up. Can he pick up the rest of these kills with the help of his team to secure this one out, ZP?
Well, he defeats hardest mode right there, taking him down early on, still in and around. But the problem is, respawn advantage is a thing. Gigantti was bloodied indeed by the heroic efforts of Leaf there towards the end. And Davin might be digging a little bit too deep here. Now might be the time to regroup with your team and reset. But damage has been done here, Bren. 2 ticks already with almost 5 minutes remaining.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that sort of trade and you think, okay, maybe not too great for the side of Gigantti, but like you said, they've got 2 ticks. They did use a lot of ultimates for it, but now they're looking to assault in from this left-hand side. The point begins to start to get played. You see Bembest was just dropping, waiting for the high there. Linkser also going to be trying to contest up with Hardest here onto the high ground. 1 shuriken, that'll do it. Hardest manages to juke him out of the way. Will stay alive with the heals as well.
All right, Transcendence in for Gigantti, and now Linkser, a casual blade. Oh, he whiffs! Has to use the dash, but gets the dash reset after. That still drains a lot of time off the blade. Hurts his ability to really chain things out. And though he's going to find Leaf here to the back,
Big self-destruct.
it's not bad for Gigantti here. They still have people on the point. They only need one more tick, and they're going to get it. GamersOrigin not able to get the last bit of delay that might have let them even it out. And now they're looking down the barrel of a very large time advantage for Gigantti.
Very much almost a one-sided fight. I mean, we were primarily looking at Linkser for that final push, but that really wasn't really the Linkser show. I mean, all he did there was distract Hardest and get the DMEC out onto Poco into the end of it. The real big show there was Zappis with the self-destruct in the final moments, picking up those 2 players, securing enough time for his team to get that cap.
One thing that I think would be of notice to people as they were watching there is wondering why we saw GamersOrigin always take the high ground, both on first and second, and why you saw Gigantti actually go more towards the lower ground. And I think the reason was there is that when you're not running a Doomfist, you're somewhat wary of the close quarter areas.
Yeah.
And part of why GamersOrigin was able to dominate the high ground is because of how Doomfist works there. Conversely, when Gigantti was coming in on their own attack, they wanted as wide an area as possible to not give Leaf easy setup. So that's why you saw such a stark difference in how Gigantti did that attack versus how GamersOrigin was attempting their attacks.
Yeah, absolutely. Gigantti's approach being much more open-ended in the way they could approach it, all over the place, really. And only actually committing Linkser to the high ground himself to try and deal with Hardest, who was playing at Soldier 76. But now, again, the roles was reversed here. Both teams have managed to get 2 checkpoints, but GamersOrigin are on the back foot. They currently only have 1 minute and 7 seconds on the clock, whereas Gigantti have 4:04 to work with. So, rolling out with this, GamersOrigin, they're going with something that happened before. Hardest on the Widow. Is this man going to be popping off again? We'll find out.
Well, we'll have to see. He is on the Widowmaker. Heading in over the top. We know where Linkser is. He doesn't quite know it here just yet. But now, looking for the targets. Anyone in his sights? Grabs the quick hit onto the Diva, but now Linkser might be in hot pursuit. Linkser wants a little bit of revenge, and it's usually
1v1.
best served cold.
Oh, Hardest 1v1, 1v1.
Oh!
Linkser
then.
with the deflates. Yeah, you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Linkser was definitely not fooled that time, but regardless, GamersOrigin are going to be realistically taking this point out. Leaf is not being dealt with in the slightest. He gets the DMEC, he rocket punches the Baby Diva into the back wall. And there should be, I mean, even though 18 seconds remaining, Big Goose gets sent absolutely flying across the courtyard. A rising uppercut into Linkser as well. Damage is 100% done, and this will be a cap for them. They have time, ZP, but will it be enough to cap the second checkpoint?
We're about to find out. We have seen heroic pushes before where you have 30 seconds left and still make it happen. And unlike last time, I don't think Gigantti is going to be coming back and taking this one here. GamersOrigin will pick up that point, and now, final 30 seconds left remaining. And one thing I think is interesting is that even though Linkser got that kill, you still drew Linkser out of the fight, and that gave Leaf a lot of room when they went in. But Bren, the final fight here is underway.
15 seconds remaining on the clock. Leaf is the man to watch. He needs to be trying to get those entry pickoffs. He also has a Meteor Strike in his arsenal, and now the approach begins as he starts trying to assault these back lines. The Dragon Blade by Links into the back, but he's get brought down immediately. We see the sound barrier going to be used. Leaf with the Meteor Strike needs to lay it down over on top of them. Will he find the kill? He's looking for, not quite. Big Goose just about escapes it narrowly, but the point is being played, ZP. They've got the cap, they've got a tick.
This is really big now for GamersOrigin. They have full control of the point. You could not have more control than what they have now. Every player still up. Gigantti under the gun right now. They bring out the Mei for a bit of stalling, but they've already given up 1 tick. But wait, there's more. 16.9% right now, Bren, and they go even deeper. The Transcendence is out. They couldn't be healthier, and they are on their way to what could be a momentous point B attack.
Already, they're going to be getting that second tick anytime now. Right now, it's not quite there just yet, but finally will move over. The self-destruct comes out from Zappis. That will force them off the point. The tactics down. Zappis with 3K will take them off the point. GamersOrigin not allowed to secure out that 4th checkpoint, that 4th round here on Hanamura.
The interesting thing there is that they backed out in response to self-destruct and still got tagged. I actually think they needed to go deeper, in the immortal words of Leonardo DiCaprio, because then at the very least they would have been able to dodge it and still apply pressure, but that self-destruct just catching them totally off guard. And yet, Bren, 69.5% is something that's defensible here.
Yeah, it definitely can be in the right situation. I mean, Gigantti are going to have about 4 minutes to work with here to push this in, and, you know, Hanamura, stranger things have happened. It is quite a difficult second point to try and capture. GamersOrigin actually got a very significant amount of progress out of that 15 seconds that they were gifted there from capturing that first checkpoint. So they actually did very well in terms of that. The question is now, Gigantti, are they going to be able to reverse this? Are they going to be able to cap this out? Because they do have a ton more time to work with compared to what GamersOrigin had.
It's going to be interesting for sure. The one thing, though, that is always worth noting is that on these first-point defenses, we have seen Doomfist catch teams off guard. GamersOrigin's got a much better first-point defense than what we saw a round ago when we saw this before, but perhaps they will be able to find a way here. Gigantti still working with quite a bit of time.
Watching your back.
Well, Heap is on the Ana. No Lucio being ran by GamersOrigin here. That needs to be said. Instead, they're going to be opting for high damage and reasonable heals here. Heap has the Bio Grenade, Pipu has the Discord Orb, and Gigantti going to be running, again, that standard 2-2-2 dive. GamersOrigin keeping Leaf on his signature Doomfist roll. Will it be enough, ZP? As we look to see them, they're rolling out, and they're going to be opting to try and take out a player. Hard and fast.
That's all I heard there, just thunk. And that was Big Goose getting slammed against the wall.
My God.
The fist was true, and Fraggy just wants to hide right now. Maybe he thinks there's more peanut butter, we'll have to see. But Leaf is not being contained right now. Another kill for him, but now they dig a little bit too deep. They fall into Gigantti's trap, and Gigantti can bring this back in.
Dangerous scenario right now for GamersOrigin as it stands. I feel like they got those entry picks onto Leaf and they felt like they could take a bit more liberties with their positioning, but now they are being pushed back onto the point. Zappis finds Pipu in the midst of it. Now they did not have the Lucio to try and peel away with the speed boost. That's the one thing they were missing from their sort of composition. Hardest, will he get the health pack? He will indeed, but he's trying to take the 1v1 against Davin as well. He wins it out of it. Oh my goodness, and Lynx are still alive, however. Gigantti should be able to secure this one out. GamersOrigin can try and stall this one, but realistically, they're not going to get it. And they've got time to work with ZP. GamersOrigin now have to defend this for about 3.5 minutes.
This isn't necessarily bad for GamersOrigin, though. They were able to build up enough ult-wise. They're at a slight disadvantage, but not as bad as if Gigantti just outright bum-rushed them there. 3 minutes left. This is doable. I think if Gigantti uses ults here and they get nothing from it, they're actually be in a little bit of trouble.
That's the real win condition, isn't it, for Gigantti, or for GamersOrigin, I should say, is they need to try and force out Shaz's his Transcendence pretty early on. The question is, are they going to be able to do it? Poco has immediately been peeled for. He has to get the heck out of there, as he's already very low. Davin still holding on to his Pulse Bomb for the time being. Shaz also still holding on to his Transcendence, and Davin waiting for the right time to strike, right time to unleash this Pulse Bomb.
Gigantti was really hoping to get a pick there before they invested ultimates. Wasn't going to be the case. Davin, Pulse Bomb onto the nano boosted Winston. Not necessarily the best target. High health and mitigation, so very little gone here. But Gigantti, they're moving in. The sound barrier's out. Everyone is still in this fight. They're getting the kills they need. A D-Mech and a Zen kill. GamersOrigin now against the wall. They don't have much more room to give here, Bren.
I mean, Heap is on the high ground, but he's going to get caught out now. Linksa, the Bio Grenade comes out, still contesting the point as it stands. Linksa has to back off 37 HP. We'll get that health pack. Still nobody is realistically trying to contest this now. Heap is still in the corner. What is going on here? The replay comes out, sleep down onto Linksa. He's down and out. GamersOrigin, that might have just put a bit of spunk into their fight, and they might be able to take this one out.
His name might be Heap, but to me right now, he's Mr. Sandman because Linkser had to say goodnight. Whew. That is huge. You can't always guarantee yourself getting a tick on any attack right now. And Gigantti, they're drained. They're fatigued. They don't have much coming into this next fight at all. So think about this here, Bren. If they don't get this next fight because they're low on ultimates, they have only one attempt left. GamersOrigin might be in a very good spot here.
Realistically, one tick is all Gigantti need to try and take this one, and they're going to rush themselves in, not wasting any time whatsoever. Davin, the Pulse Bomb will actually connect it there onto the side of Mendez, brings him very low, but he does back off and he has the peel. Now the Transcendence. Pipu wants to try and defend this one for the rest of his team, but it's being baited elegantly by Gigantti. They back off effectively, not really letting them get maximum value out of it, but Hardest, he picks off Fraggy. That could be an excellent entry frag for them.
The problem here for Gigantti is that they're down a tank here early on. It's difficult to get control of the point when you lose that tank to begin with. Davin was able to bait out the Transcendence pretty well there, and normally that's a boon. The problem for Gigantti is that they just don't have time to work their way into an ultimate advantage here. Moreover, you think about what GamersOrigin has. They have a nano boost, they have the Primal Rage. They can delay for a very long time here, so GamersOrigin at best is looking to bring this into overtime for a dramatic finish. See if they can do it.
Gigantti have stuff to work with, though. That's the thing. The Transcendence coming out from Shaz now is going to be critical in trying to prevent basically the Nano Boost, which I imagine are going to put it onto Mendez again, already committed pretty early on. And yeah, there you have it. Nano Boost put onto Mendez to try and stall us out, but the Transcendence here and Gigantti are perfectly staggering out these ultimates. They're perfectly stacking these support ultimates to try and delay this one out. Self-destruct gets laid down. GamersOrigin trying to keep them off. Linksa now with the Dragon Blade. Moves into the back, not finding correctly the right targets here. Hardest will actually get the recall call out, and Linksa gets nothing from the Dragon Blade again.
And the problem there is that for Gigantti is GamersOrigin just retreated into their spawn. GamersOrigin wasn't able to convert on those support ultimates, and now they're gone, but GamersOrigin is back in. They're getting the kills they need here, Bren, and the dream, the hope, might still be alive for GamersOrigin, because it's looking like, indeed, they will be taking Hanamura.
My goodness, Davin, last man standing, can stagger this one out for as long as he possibly can.
Wait.
They come back in, Fraggy is there, but he's going to get focused down, the bubble down as well. Leaf, though, he answers back with the rocket punch, and the overtime will begin to tick down. Victus will just about get onto the point, but again, I feel like it's too little, too late. And you are correct, ZP. GamersOrigin now going to be winning map number 3.
A little bit tense there for me. I was like, wait. They're a little bit far away. I was like, not quite, but still very difficult to pull things back when you're staggering. So
yeah,
safe in the end, indeed. As GamersOrigin able to take Hanamura, getting their first map win of the series. And now we'll see where Gigantti does indeed decide to bring them.
Could be going to a game number 5 here. That's the potential. If GamersOrigin do manage to clinch out this next map, could be very good for them, because I mean this is an incredibly important match for both these teams. Gigantti and GamersOrigin need to prove themselves. You know, Gigantti, they need the wins. GamersOrigin, they've already secured a very top spot right now when it comes to the seedings and the rankings. If they get this win over Gigantti, one of the giants in the EU Contenders, you know, tournament, this could be massive for them, because now that's one less problem they have to deal with.
No doubt about it. But also for GamersOrigin, this is sort of a prove-it match, right? Where they want to show that they are one of the top teams in EU. They've had a lighter schedule here so far. But if they were able to beat Gigantti, a team that did come out strong in early Contenders Season 1, it would say a lot for GamersOrigin and how they're playing. And certainly it would say a lot to their ability to mix in Doomfist, who they've been relying on rather heavily.
Yeah, that's the real thing as well. And you touched on it very nicely, the fact that GamersOrigin, this is their chance to prove that they are a top team, because in this tournament so far, they haven't played particularly high caliber teams. Gigantti is almost the first one that they've run into that is actually a reasonable, you know, has a reasonable chance of proving that they are one of the best teams here. Now, GamersOrigin moving into that one map win was so important for them. You know, it can't be understated, because, you know, if Gigantti ended up winning it, that would have been it. That would have been the map win gone, the series win gone, down the curtains, down the drain, I should say. Now we're moving to Gibraltar. Now, we have seen both these teams run dive, but I gotta say, I feel like Gigantti are the team that are much more effective with it.
They are, and the other thing too is that Gibraltar is not necessarily that generous to a Doomfist, because you think back to some of the issues that GamersOrigin was facing back on Oasis, where Oasis, 2 of the stages are very much heavily focused on verticality. So is Gibraltar, pretty much. And even the stage that's a little bit less focused on the last point is really wide open, which still isn't really Doomfist's cup of tea. So this is where GamersOrigin, we might not see them rely on the Doomfist here. And in fact, as we watch them set up for their offense, we're not seeing Leaf tease the Doomfist at all.
One thing we could see is, and we've seen it in the past, is the Widowmaker for hardest. He could bring that out on the offensive. It's been very effective in the past. We've seen lots of players. I mean, the guy is actually pretty astounding when it comes to that role, and they are teasing it right now in the pregame. But Gigantti, we can talk about their defense for sure. Shaz is on the Ana. Again, pretty common pick here for the first checkpoint, I guess, of Gibraltar, because again, you've got so much high ground to work off. The defense, you can work off it effectively before it comes into the hangar phase. And they're also going to be running with, again, the 2-2-2, which is Linksa and Davin going to be running that Genji and Tracer respectively.
I have to say, I do think this is advantage Gigantti here, because even if Leaf plays a good Tracer, this is simply not the style that GamersOrigin plays on most maps. They really like running the Doomfist.
Yeah.
They're going to have a lot less practice with the style, so if Gigantti can just play their normal game here, not make any large mistakes, I think they really do have GamersOrigin in a bit of a bind. But Bren, the offense is on the way. Gigantti, their defense, going to be holding a little bit further back, not really looking for the early aggression.
Gibraltar, I think, was one of the best maps that Gigantti could have taken GamersOrigin too, because, you know, we talked about it to death, but Leaf is not on his signature Doomfist role. He can't be in that hard carry position that he has been known for in the past. Instead, the pressure is on Hardest's shoulders as he looks for the picks, but again, Gigantti are showing him the respect he deserves. They're not peeking around the corners, only using the defense matrix to take angles and to get vision, but the cart will be moving through the car wash.
The interesting thing about this, too, is that it does drain the D.Va's defensive matrix, and the D.Va isn't in position there to protect Linksa early on. It's good pressure coming in, and there's the headshot coming in from Hardest, able to take down Fraggy there, and now just good pressure being applied as GamersOrigin, making this look pretty easy.
Yeah, indeed. Zappis will get demected in the process of it. In the process of it, I should say. Biku's going to be leaping in to try and help out the rest of his team, try and stall this one out. But GamersOrigin are not slowing down in the slightest, and I feel like Gigantti were maybe possibly expecting Leaf to be sticking to the Doomfist role. Seeing hardest on the Widow definitely took them out of him, and as you mentioned, you know, they were using the oh, what is this stall? Where is Shaz going here? Okay, I think he realized, yeah,
just a little bit delayed.
The wrong way back to the spawn is what it was. But I think if he tried to run away, he was going to die anyway. But
well, Keep just uses magic to send him back there immediately. It's crazy the technology that Zenyatta's have when they interact with each other. But GamersOrigin using this Widow for momentum right now. But then you get into the part of the map where it's a little bit harder for the Widow to land good shots. Not impossible. But take a look at this. Leaf on a secret mission coming in from the back, has the recon sight, and there it is. It's a stick.
Doesn't actually connect onto too many plays. Doesn't actually get the kill. I'm not sure if the ult was forced out there. I think actually it was the Transcendence was used by Heap here as he tries to tickle it out, so to speak. They aren't going to be moving in, but hardest ends up falling to Shaz. Of all people, now Leaf will get the kill there onto Zappis as well. Still following it up with even more. Gigantti going to be trying to defend this one out. GamersOrigin running it forward. Mendez still has his Primal Rage available to him, should he so wish to pop it off and use it. But Linkser answers back. Heap will fall. Trades all over the place, to be honest, CP. This could go anywhere.
Gigantti has been buying a lot of time, but now their time might be coming to an end. Leaf working on the Tracer has been effective here so far. Getting kills needed for GamersOrigin, applying the pressure. It might not be Doom, but it might as well be the same for Gigantti here, who is getting pushed against the wall. Still, you take a look at the delay they're doing, they're buying themselves some time, and Linkser will be coming back in with that blade in a moment, so it's not entirely clear ceiling for GamersOrigin here just yet.
Pressure on Leaf now to hit off this pulse bomb, because if he gets a good one off onto any one of the supports, forces out the ults early, it's going to be imperative for them capping this checkpoint. But Davin falling early on, that's big for them. The ults are going to be used pretty early on, and again the Transcendence was used early, but Linkser, he doesn't care about the Transcendence, man, when he's picking up kills like this. He secures it for his team, surely. Only 2 players remaining, Gigantti answering it back.
And that's exactly what Gigantti needed there. They needed Linkser to come in and get that key play to give them some stability, because GamersOrigin would have been setting a really electric time here. But this is what happens. You don't have a support ult in response, your Genji is barriered, and that's a great time to pull out the blade. So stability has been gained. GamersOrigin now actually, in fact, a little bit drained as they go through this right room.
Excellent pulse bomb by Davin, brings down hardest and does a decent amount of damage as well. Inside of Mendez, he's already very weak, has to heal himself back up. He's going to start to get played by Leaf as he's still attacking it in, but that will prompt the self-destruct. Gigantti looking to take out Zappis will bring down Mendez, but Davin also provides the beatdown onto Leaf.
This is probably the worst scenario here for GamersOrigin, where they're still a bit behind in ult economy. They've been chaining out bad fight after bad fight, and Gigantti has been able to fully reset. And this is also one of the points where you absolutely cannot swap things back up and suddenly go to your Doomfist. So what they're going to need here is not only good positioning and sort of catching Gigantti a bit off guard, but they're also going to need hardest to open things up here, get a good tack visor, and just push Gigantti back. And so far, every step of the way has been contested.
Has indeed. GamersOrigin are struggling. They've got ults to use, however. Now, the point was getting pushed in quite sneakily. Now the Transcendences will be exchanged by both these teams. They look to battle it out. Self-destruct coming out from Poco as well. But Linkser with the Dragon Blade answers back 2. Can he get 3? Not quite. The Reflect will try and keep him alive for the time being, and his team is definitely there to try and help him out. Oh my goodness, Linkser has been performing so much.
Sometimes 2 is enough. You don't need the all-kill Dragon Blade when you take down key parts and your team can finish out the rest, because you're still drawing attention with that Dragon Blade. The people that aren't dying to it are still respecting you and moving back. Bigger problem here for GamersOrigin. They did invest the Transcendence there. They used it early for the engage, and Linkser was able to wait it out. And now Frag engaging so early, setting up Davin. Davin to the back, the Pulse Bomb is in. Demech doesn't happen, but they do force out the barrier early.
That's really what they were looking for, I suppose. GamersOrigin using that barrier far too early for their own liking. Gigantti now can afford to move in. The sound barrier connects onto all 6 members of the team. Big Goose are going to be happy with that one at the end of the day. Still, the point will start to get played. Shaz, however, finding that entry pick, and Fraggy on the back lines, bringing down Keep. Most likely with the help of his team. The peel is there, however. Fraggy's in trouble. Forced to back out of the Primal Rage. Monkey versus Monkey. He finds the kill onto Fraggy. Zappis, though, sending out the self-destruct, will not get anything from it, and even exchange ZP.
Works out really well here for Gigantti, where not only do they take the fight, but they'll have a blade up for the next part. And again, let's just break down why that was so good for Gigantti, where Fraggy and Davin were the front line. They were the vanguard. They dove in on GamersOrigin really early in the hangar. They spooked them. They made them use the barrier early, and then they got out. And as a result, GamersOrigin wasn't able to get as much from that barrier. Therefore, Gigantti was able to maintain a dominant advantage. And now, Linkser from the skies, the blade at the ready.
Blade at the ready, but look at that Transcendence so early by GamersOrigin. Now, all Linkser has to do is stay alive, wait for the precise moment, and here we go. He unsheaths the beast, but it's not enough. Leaf brings him down with a rocket punch. Unbelievable. Denying him of that, and the Dragon Blade is gone. No refund for you, sir.
Well, the Doomfist swap so far working out pretty well for GamersOrigin. It's not necessarily typical here, but why not go with your strongest stuff when you're against the wall? The final time is ticking down, and GamersOrigin might be getting some extra time here if they could just push us in, and they do. Minute 20 left, and this is just one of those things where sometimes you ignore the meta, sometimes you ignore conventional wisdom.
Go with it, you know?
You go with what you're good at. And Leaf, it's pretty good, Doomfist.
It's the comfort zone, you know. Leaf, that last-minute switch to the Doomfist has sorted them out massively because honestly, out of all the kills he needed to get in that scenario, Linkser, when he was ulting, was probably the best out of all of them, I feel like, because not only did he just waste the Dragon Blade, but he completely negated that entire the entire point of Team Gigantti forcing the Transcendence early, and now they've got to deal with this momentum, pushing in the Transcendence. ZP is forced out early.
The Transcendence had to come out because of the Deadeye that would have gotten the Zen otherwise, but it doesn't quite matter. Gigantti, they were ready to dive in with it, so no time like the present. They flush GamersOrigin right out of their zone. And we're still down to the final 35 seconds, Bren. You simply don't get much extra time for capping second here in Gibraltar.
Really don't. 30 seconds remaining. Gigantti have the soundbar to defend with. They've got Fraggy with his own Primal Rage, including Zappis of the Self-Destruct. A lot of stalling capabilities coming out of the defending team right now. As GamersOrigin, they've got a bit to work with, don't get me wrong, but is it going to be realistically enough? Fraggy falling, that might be.
He got punched right in the face there, but they also had to use Transcendence early. That's a decent trade for Gigantti here. They just need to back it up a little bit, Bren. They'll concede some room, but they can come out with 6 and come out with an absolutely enormous advantage. So that's what they're going to do. They're coming out of the spawn door, and now they drop the beat.
Overtime ticks down. Here we have it. Meteor strike by Leaf. Leaps it down onto the high ground. Won't actually connect onto too many players like he was hoping for, but he will put in enough damage onto Fraggy to bring him down. Now the overtime still coming down from them. The Self-Destruct will bring him down. Down him with the post bomb. So many people dying now on the side of GamersOrigin. They lost so many players. Hardest, he needs to turn up here on the McCree. The Deadeye, will it be enough for them? He forces the positioning and a Transcendence again. Gets forced down, but the Transcendence can't save you from the Deadeye, lad.
GamersOrigin still with uneven numbers right now. They're getting cleaned up. Hardest, the last one left. Goodbye, Hardest, and the payload is stalled. Whew. So you take a look at Gibraltar, generally speaking. This is an advantage of Gigantti. A lot of teams are able to complete Gibraltar in the end. Not impossible to defend for GamersOrigin, certainly still an active game, and in fact, GamersOrigin had a good job recovering from what could have been a second point hold with a last-moment Doomfist swap.
I honestly feel like you got to start sweating at this point, though, ZP, if you're Gigantti, because right now, I mean, yeah, they didn't complete the map on GamersOrigin, but this is still 100% defendable right now for the side of GamersOrigin. Depending on how they play this, you know, Leaf is the question mark in my mind because they started winning as soon as he switched to the Doomfist. And now he looks like he's going to be opting for the Genji. I mean, again, this is the pre-game. He could make some switches, he could make some changes, but I feel like you need to stick with what you're comfortable with the comfort zone, which is Leaf on the Doomfist, which is what your playstyle is.
I also think here, if you think about how things have gone where GamersOrigin has felt comfortable on the Doomfist, Kings Row notwithstanding, I do think that if we go to Ilios, which will be the tiebreaker here, it probably favors GamersOrigin a little bit more. Certainly, it is more their map than what we saw from them on Oasis.
Yeah.
So for Gigantti, your victory condition here is just to put together a good Gibraltar push. Nothing fancy, but get to the yellow box of victory and go from there. You don't want this to go to a tiebreaker.
Well, oh well, here we have it. I mean, a tiebreaker would be worst case scenario, I feel like, yeah, for Gigantti, obviously, because they lose the map, but also because Ilios is actually, like you mentioned, much more favored for GamersOrigin. You know, the Ruin section, you can run Hardest on the Widow. There's various other compositions that are much more suited, but maybe we're thinking too far ahead. We've still got this one round ahead of us before that ends up happening as the countdown begins. Will Gigantti be able to finish it out in this map, or will we be going to a game number 5?
Well, that answer is certainly about to be found here as Gigantti heading out here in the offense. A little bit of Hanzo scouting early on from Shaz before he turns into everyone's favorite Omnic. At least if you prefer Zenyatta over Bastion. But now it's Linkser here in the back. Nice shot, almost a headshot there. That would have been big. Not quite enough here early on, but it will be forcing GamersOrigin back. This is something you have to respect.
A lot of damage being put into them. In fact, Davin is the one to pick up the first entry kill for them. And look at this damage. I mean, GamersOrigin is just not respecting these sightlines at all. But this is actually entirely on purpose. They're stalling out on the point. Linkser, man. Get out of here. What is that? Jeez Louise, man. It's honestly nuts. I mean, GamersOrigin, that was all on purpose, right? Throwing bodies at the point. You're looking at me with a questionable face here, ZP, but that was on purpose. They were trying to do the rogue strategy of stalling that one out by throwing bodies at it, but it's backfired, you know, because now Gigantti, they've got positioning with Linkser on the Widow.
If it was on purpose, I do think they should reconsider that strategy because they gave so much power here to Gigantti and superior positioning, and Linkser right now with room to work with. Now, who gets him? Boom! Right to Hardest, down he goes. Hardest, you challenge Linkser, sometimes you lose, and Linkser is on a rampage right now. Gigantti in good shape to continue pushing this payload.
And Leaf evens it out for his team, but Davin is still alive. Now, the Dragon Blade by Leaf will be used here, but completely counteracted by this Sandbar. In fact, he's getting brought down, burnt down to a crisp by the Tesla cannon here of Fraggy. And as you mentioned, ZP, I think that initial push, although it was the strategy, wasn't the right play, because now Gigantti are working with so many ults on the board here. GamersOrigin can try and defend it, can try and come back in, but they're losing so many players off the back of it.
The only thing I'd say here to the end of this is that GamersOrigin is dying well. They're buying a lot of time, if nothing else. And Gigantti actually wasn't able to get as big of an ultimate advantage as they would like in this situation. So Gigantti going to move forward, they get to the point. Now comes a big test here, Bren, because if GamersOrigin is going to realistically deal with this, they need to do it here. But
I know, it's actually mental, to be honest. Watching good Widowmaker players just makes me wish I was good at video games, because you can hard carry on Widow. It's one of those roles, one of those heroes where you can really just turn up and bring the pain to the enemy team. But right now we see ult being used. I believe that's a nano boost onto Bembes once again. They want to run this one in. Davin eating a ton of damage in the meantime. They get the recall out. He's going to heal himself back up. But right now, no frags going either side, but Davin answers back with his own.
Gigantti right now cannot be stopped. They forced the Transcendence out of GamersOrigin, but GamersOrigin didn't have the people to really make that work. The Transcendence buying them nothing but a tiny bit of time, but that's not what you want to buy with your Transcendence. You want to buy a full team fight win, as Linkser still laying in the damage here at the Widowmaker. This is quite bad for GamersOrigin and might get worse if they're not able to pull a team fight win in this next fight.
No, they need to turn up. They need to turn up right now. They've got ults to use. Self-destruct, Primal Rage, but the infrared sight is going to give them a lot of vision on the side of Gigantti right now, and Linkser is waiting patiently for his right opportunity to strike. The sightlines are true to him. Will he pick up the kill? A lot of damage being put on, but the backlines will now be forced upon. Bembes using his Primal Rage! Linkser, please, man, stop this madness. He's actually popping off.
He's doing really well right now, the Widowmaker. He's coming back in from the other side. Under pressure. Oh no, this is when you know he's angry. The blade comes out. Sometimes you gotta get rid of the problem. And that's pretty much all Leaf exchanges his Dragon Blade for, but that might be enough for GamersOrigin to buy some critical time here. Gigantti, though they're working the edges right now.
Do it.
Ooh. From downtown, not quite Kobe. Not even sure if he's in the NBA on that one.
I would have done that, to be fair, Davin. I'm with you in that boat. I would have gone for the long-range post bomb because that's stylish, man. That's style. But the backlines will get forced upon that. Keep forcing out the Transcendence now. Going to be using it to try and stay alive. Link's are looking, still the Widowmaker, looking for the kills here. Hardest, he's had enough, man. He wants to try and go for the kill. Beat down, not going to be enough. Grappling hooks away. I mean,
again!
He's done it so many times. Linkser, please. Enough of this. Just finish out the game. Stop toying with your food, man. Just get it over with.
Well, the thing here is that even though Linkser's getting pickoffs, they don't have the presence on the point to completely get rid of GamersOrigin. GamersOrigin almost role-playing rats right now. Very difficult to eliminate rats. And even still, as the kill feed floods with blue, they're finding more time to delay here. This could still backfire for Gigantti, despite how impressive Linkser has been.
I'm impressed by how long they've been stalling, yeah, absolutely. But they do get the cap in the end, just about. Bembes tries to stall it out by jumping into them, but not going to be working out for them just yet. Now, plenty of time for Gigantti to push this in. 3 minutes ZP. They've only got a short walk up the hill, pretty much, to try and secure this. And Linkser still on the Widow. He has not switched off. He is keen. He is on fire. He's feeling pumped.
Well, he's certainly been having a good Widowmaker game here so far, saving the recon site for now, but now, no one can hide. Certainly not Hars, who's gotten popped multiple times in a row. But now Gigantti, going to drop the sound barrier, looking to engage a little bit more heavily, but they can't really get it off as well as they wanted, as now Leaf comes in with the blade and gets rid of the problem.
Yeah, this is wonderful by GamersOrigin. Just going to be forcing out a lot of ults by Gigantti right now, as they've actually got no support ults whatsoever on their side. GamersOrigin forcing that out with just Leaf and his Dragon Blade alone. Still, the backline's going to be focused down to a degree. Gigantti, if they regroup, this could be dangerous. Trades equal so far, and we're in a unique part of the map now where kills on either side aren't really favored. You know, there's no defender or attacker's advantage when the card is in this position.
This is really tense right now for Gigantti. They still need to push it a little bit further. They have 2 minutes left, applying the pressure of the GamersOrigin, certainly winning the poke war right now, but they're not able to turn the corner and capitalize as hard as goes down. This is actually quite big now for Gigantti. They're turning up the heat.
They find the kills, and it's important to note as well, Linksa has actually now switched to the Soldier 76, a bit more, a bit more versatility when it comes to rolling that roll as opposed to just the Widowmaker. As the beat will be dropped by GamersOrigin. They tried to stagger this one out, but Poco gonna get desuited out of the mech. Good little pick off there by Davin. That means no more defense matrix again. Needs to be said, and Gigantti, they're rolling this forward CP. They're not slowing down in the slightest.
They are almost at the point of victory. GamersOrigin is still responding. They're not even out of the spawn tunnel. The beat is dropped. And luckily for Gigantti, because that was an early barrier, Ben Best not quite able to get there in time. And as a result, it's going to be Gigantti taking the map, taking the series. And Bren, even though we were wrong, I think both teams put on a show.
That was a fantastic game. Even though we were wrong about the GamersOrigin prediction, I mean, Linksa showing up, it's so fun every time when you see somebody popping off on the Widowmaker like this. I do hope he's got to play the game. Give me, show it. Nah, Linksa. Well, he does get to play the game, but it's on a different role. It's on the Genji instead. But goodness me, what a fantastic series between these two teams. I think GamersOrigin, they can be proud of the performance they put up, and they've definitely shown that they are a team not to be taken lightly as well.
Also, I think it's probably worth noting here that if the first map was an Oasis, the first map is randomly selected for control. If they had gone in the